My name is Bryn Gostin. I am the Chief Product and Strategy Officer at Capital Dynamics, and I chair, or I should say co-chair, my firm's Responsible Investment Committee. At Capital Dynamics, we manage about $14 billion in assets across private equity funds, secondaries, and direct minority investments, as well as a clean energy platform where we invest in solar and wind and related technologies. We're here because we think there's a big opportunity to bring a diverse set of groups together from a governmental perspective, from a philanthropic perspective, and also from a financial perspective to generate some real impact and some real return for our investors. How integrated everything is, one of the things I was mentioning during my panel is how to think about trust and how do we know where trust is. And a lot of that stems from a perspective on artificial intelligence, which is AI. What exactly is it, right? It feels very ethereal in some ways. And can it ever get to this place where we can use artificial intelligence to mimic or mock or sort of understand human traits and human characteristics, such as understanding things like trust? And so if you take it from one session on artificial intelligence to a session on responsible investment and responsible leadership, which so much of which is tied into trust, can you take AI and lead into something like human interaction and human understanding over time, which ultimately translates into investment opportunity and the ability to drive people in a collective direction. So it's really a holistic sort of set of panels from our perspective over the course of the day. I think the most interesting insight from today's panel would have to be just the reality that not everybody feels this way, but most people recognize that there's a lot going on in the world today, a lot of problems that need to get solved, and most people actually do fundamentally care. And you can see that because you have such a diverse set of individuals and institutions here, but really we're all driving towards the same messages and the same themes. And that's going to drive, I think, a lot of positive change over the next 5+ years, but it's also going to create a lot of investment opportunity as well. And we look really for that intersection at Capital Dynamics. A few pieces of advice that I would have are, first of all, and it's a little bit trite to say, but I think it's really true. You have to find something that you're passionate about and that you're excited about. Because to do well, you're going to have to work hard. But if it feels like work, if it feels too much like work and a struggle every day, the second piece of advice I would have is, always be listening, always be learning, and not just about your specific subject matter, but more broadly, because it informs the way that you're thinking, and it enables you to develop connections in terms of even if things seem unrelated, they can actually sort of lead to, especially if you have a night, go to sleep, wake up the next day, these sort of like connections just develop over time. And then the third is, and I know this is sort of a hard thing to hear in some ways, but especially earlier in your career, you really do have to work hard. And the reason I say that, that's part of the reason it's so important to have some passion for what you do, is because over time, as your career goes on, you will have pattern recognition. And so you'll realize as time goes on that, hey, I've had this problem or this issue before, or I heard someone who I used to work for dealt with this problem and this is how they addressed it. And so it becomes almost easier to do your job, to grow and to add value over time, because you've had this experience and you can look back on it. But you have to put in the work in the early years in particular.